Hello everyone, and welcome to our live match preview show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for this evening. Liverpool are finally on a winning streak, two back-to-back victories, and it all started with the win against Aston Villa last weekend. But the performance against Real Madrid has got me very excited. I think it could be a turning point for our season. But it doesn't get any tougher than our opponents in the Premier League as we face Man City this Sunday at the Etihad Stadium. So let's analyze our opponents and see what kind of form Man City have been in. Plus, we'll present the team news, predicted lineups, and score predictions. So let's begin with the team analysis and assess Man City's form so far this season. In the Premier League, they've played 10 times, 6 wins, 1 draw, and 3 defeats. They're currently second in the league, 1 point above us. And look, let's be honest, they have really stepped it up in recent games, and some of their players have been in peak form. You've got the likes of Haaland, who has been sensational in front of goal, scoring 13 goals, which is more than double in comparison to the amount of goals that Thiago, Welbeck, Semenyo, and Mateta have scored, who are all on joint 6 goals this season. Foden has rediscovered his form this season and looks like a more complete player. Doku and Savinho were in great form against Dortmund midweek, so they're going to be up for it on this Sunday as well. And you've got the new signings in Turkey and Reinders who have looked, some decent additions to their squad as well. So Liverpool need to be on top of their game to get anything from this fixture. Now, I've spoken very positively about the Man City players. It's time for me to brag a little bit about our players. So Bosley has been a monster on the pitch, and for me, arguably has been one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this season. Bamberg has looked solid as a rock and has also added goals to his game this season. Ekitike has adapted to English football with ease like a duck to water. Bradley still has Vinicius Jr. in his pocket, so hopefully he'll let him free soon. McAllister has shown more bite than a football in the last couple of games, so it's the return of the Mac. And our Wunderkinde in Florian Wirtz has shown real grit and desire in recent games, so maybe he's ready to unleash and show his unbelievable talent to the world. So if this doesn't get you excited in terms of the plays that we have on show, I'm not sure what will. So let's move on and present the team news. In regards to Man City, Kovacic is the only player unavailable for his fixture. So Pep has the luxury of selecting a squad that is pretty much 100% available. Now, in terms of Liverpool, unfortunately, Frimpong and Allison are expected to be out for this fixture. Isak, on the other hand, is touch and go. There are rumors suggesting that he could be on the bench for this Sunday. Me personally, I think it will be too soon for his return, but I'm sure Arne Slot will confirm this in tomorrow's press conference. So let's move on and present the predicted lineups. We'll start with the home team, of course, and that is Man City. So I'm expecting them to go with a traditional 4-2-3-1 formation, unless Pep Guardiola has a completely different game plan and you know takes us sort of by surprise, which he has done over the years. But we'll go with the safe option in terms of it being a 4-2-3-1 formation. So in terms of the goalkeeper, I'm expecting it to be Donnarumma, and what a signing he has been. Too much is still £25 million, I think it was in the summer. He might not be the goalkeeper that people would associate with uh, amazing distribution, but as a shot stopper, uh, there aren't many better than the Italian keeper. Now, in terms of the defense, Mateus Nunes pretty much made the right back position his own, which surprises me to be fair. I didn't really see him as that type of player, but he's obviously worked hard to stake a claim in this team, and he's found his position in the lineup. On the left hand side, it's going to be interesting because you've got O'Reilly, who's played in recent games and has looked really good. Excuse me, but for this fixture, I think you might see the return of Ait Nouri. I feel like on the ball, he'll give Man City a different dimension, but also I think he will give Mohamed Salah a tough afternoon, as he's normally good in one-on-one duels. So I would expect him to be reinstated into the lineup. And on that left-hand side of the centre back position, I'm going for Gvardiol, and alongside him will be Ruben Diaz. Now in midfield, I'm expecting it to be Nico Gonzalez, and alongside him will be Rodri. Now, in terms of the right wing, I thought Savinho was really, really good against Dortmund, but I think based on the team's selections in recent weeks, we could see Ryan Cherky start on this game. So I'm predicting that he starts on that right hand side, and you've got Phil Foden starting in that number 10 role. And on the left wing, I'm expecting Doku, who has looked more direct and more aggressive in his play. So it's going to be a tricky afternoon for whoever the right back is, which will, of course, present very soon. And up top, of course, there is no other player but Erling Haaland. So that is the prediction or the predicted lineup that I'm going for. So feel free to let me know in the comments what you guys think. Of course, this is a pretty much a very star-studded sort of formation and lineup, but Man City do have a lot of players, that can come off the bench and cause havoc. So you've got the likes of Mamouche, who can play alongside Haaland if they want to go a bit more direct in a 4-4-2, or he can play on either wing. So he's a player that is very aggressive in his pressing, but also a very lethal option up top. You've got the likes of Bernardo Silva who can come in and dictate play. Um, Oscar Bob, he's come back from a long-term injury, but he's pretty much a viable option for the right wing, but can also play on the left or as a number 10. So, he can play across the more advanced midfield roles. And Savinho as well. I feel like he's a player that could definitely cause havoc. So yeah, they've got plenty of options. Reinders, I haven't even mentioned him. He's a viable option for them as well. He can play a box to box position, and he's a goal threat from long range distance. So plenty of talent on show that can definitely come on and change the game for Man City. So what we'll do now is we'll present the Liverpool lineup that I'm expecting us to feature in this fixture on Sunday. So in terms of the lineup, not Anderson, so I'm expecting Mamadashvili to remain in goal. On that right hand side, no ping pong. So it will probably be Conor Bradley, who starts after his formidable performance against Real Madrid midweek. And on the right hand side, left hand side, I'm going for Andrew Robertson. I was thinking of putting Kirkers there because I thought maybe it's time to rotate due to Robertson playing three back-to-back games, but the form that he's shown so far, I don't feel like we can ruin a winning formula or a stable defense right now. So for me, Robertson has to remain a fixture. And remember, this is the last fixture before the international break. So might as well go with players that have huge confidence right now. And I think Robertson is certainly one of them. In a defense, it will be no other than Van Dijk and Konate to complete the back line. In terms of the double pivot, I'm going to go with Gravenberg on that right hand side and Alistair to start alongside him. McAllister for me would have been a player I would have dropped if I'm being really honest with you. The past week or two, I've been saying I can't see him, you know, remaining in the starting lineup, but due to his improved performances against Villa and Real Madrid, it's looking like he's close to his best again. So for me, it's only right that he continues his good form and continues with building up on his match sharpness and continues to have an effect on the game. Of course, scoring a match winner against Real Madrid. So for me, deserve these starts for me in this game. And in your number 10 role, I'm going to go with Sabozlai. On the right hand side, it's going to be no other than Mohamed Salah. The left is going to be a debate. Do we see Arne Slot reinstate Cody Gakpo into the starting lineup, or do we continue with the same shape or same selection of players where Florian Wirtz started on the left hand side against Real Madrid? For me, it has to be the latter, and I'm expecting Florian Wirtz to remain on that left sided role. And up top, I don't think Isak will be available for this one, so I'm going to go with Ekitike to start in this fixture. So this is my predicted lineup. No huge surprise, as the exact same team that played against Real Madrid midweek. And with the players having an extra day of rest, with this fixture being on Sunday, I feel like these players should be ready and fit to start against Man City. So this is my pretty lineup. So feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Now, in terms of score predictions, in our last visit at the Etihad, which was in February, we won 2-0 with Szoboszlai and Mohamed Salah scoring the goals. But in terms of current form, of course, that was last season. I think Man City have started to pick up form at the right time, but at the same time, just like Liverpool as well. So I'm going to go for a draw, but I'm expecting plenty of goals. So my score prediction is a 2-2 draw. In terms of the goal scorers, I'm expecting Haaland and Phil Foden to score for Man City. And for Liverpool, I'm expecting it to be Ekitike and Florian Wirtz. So not the result that we want, because of course we want to try and climb up the table as much as possible. Uh, but I don't think a point would be a disastrous result, and also it is a step in the right direction in terms of climbing up the ranks within the Premier League. So that is my score prediction. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think the scoreline will be this Sunday. Before we close the show, there's a few rumors and I would like to discuss. Um, One that came out of nowhere, I guess today, was this news. So Ajax unfortunately have sacked our former coach, John Heitinga, earlier on today. So the big question is, should Liverpool look to re-sign the coach? I don't think it's a bad option, because I do feel like he brought something to the table in terms of his coaching methods to our squad last season. I also felt like, we lost a bit of that intensity in the early parts, and that may have came from, his uh, qualities as a coach, and in terms of how he set up training alongside Arne Slot. So it could be something that it is a possibility. It's happened in recent years when Pep Linders went over to the Netherlands and coached a team there. Unfortunately, he faced the sack and then returned to Liverpool a few months later. So he didn't leave on bad terms. He pretty much left with our blessing. So if he's open to returning to Liverpool as a coach, I'm sure Arne Slot could make space for him in within his coaching staff. So it's definitely one to look out for, because it could be a possibility that he rejoins the club in the near future. Now, moving on. Whenever I mention transfer, I feel like this guy will always pop up in any shape or form, and that is Mark Gay. Now, apparently, the current rumor, whether you believe it or not, is that Mark Gay has told Real Madrid that he has given his word and that he wants to join Liverpool. Now, my thoughts on that, who knows? If you'd asked me this question a few months ago, I probably would have said it with chest that he's definitely joining Liverpool. But after Crystal Palace beating us twice, I'm not saying that's the reason why he's not joining. I don't know if Liverpool will still be, in the front sort of running to sign him. And of course, if Liverpool were to, secure his signature, the wise decision would be to try and do it in January rather than wait until next summer, because I do believe that we need reinforcements in our defense, especially after Giovanni Leone picked up that unfortunate injury, which has ruled him out for at least another year. So therefore, we need to add another defender. I'd probably say even two, but at least one more defender to provide squad depth for this season. So let's see, what happens in January if Gehi is still our number one target, And is it a deal where Liverpool are willing to spend money, despite what happened on the summer window, where a certain chairman decided to go for a Pilates class and pretty much left the deal up in the air. So of course that would have affected relations between the two clubs. But let's see what happens. Do I still rate Mark Gay? Of course, I think he's a fantastic defender, and I think he will provide great competition to our team. And he's a player that can give us a different option as well. We could easily play a back three and have him on the left hand side alongside Van Dijk and Konate. If that was the sort of the setup that we wanted to go with. So he's a player that will provide that kind of option, but strength in depth in the defense as well. And especially in the second half of the season, I'm expecting us to you know, challenge for all honors, especially in the Premier League and Champions League. So we need more players available, as you do expect rotation to take place as the season goes on. So for me, has to be regarded as the primary target. If it's not him and we still want to sign him as a free transfer, I'm expecting us to sign another defender in January. It remains to be seen who that profile is. But I will still have Marque on top of my shortlist. So let's see what happens in the coming weeks because we're in November. January window is not too far away. Another player that unfortunately has been linked with a move away from the club is our very own Federico Chiesa. Now, apparently, the latest team that has shown interest is Napoli, who are considering a move to sign the winger as they see him as a ready-made winger capable of scoring goals, and they could place a bid in January. So the big question is, should Liverpool allow Chiesa to leave in January, or is that not an option? For me, you'll probably guess it is not an option. There is no way that we can sell Chiesa in January unless there is a replacement, earmarked for that month, which I highly doubt. I know we've been strongly linked to a move for Semenyo, who, of course, has been fantastic for Bournemouth this season. But I don't expect that move to materialize in the January window. So for me, I think Chiesa has to stay this season. Next summer is a different conversation, but I would not part ways with him, or I don't think we should part ways with him in January because, quite frankly, he's been one of our best attackers in the team. He hasn't got enough starts for me, not due to his abilities, due to whatever issue he has with Slot because he just doesn't want to start him. But whenever he's been called upon, he's been fantastic. He's been relentless in his play, so good in terms of his pressing, but effective in the game as well. Whether he's providing assists or scoring goals, he's done it all this season, and that's why he was, provided with an award last season as Player of the Month. So for me, this is a player that deserves more starts, and for me is an important member of the squad. So I would not consider parting ways with him anytime soon. So for me, I hope this, interest, if it is true, is rebuffed, and we can have that discussion later in the season at the summer just to see where his head is at, and if he wants to continue his journey at Liverpool, I would be happy about that. If he wants to part ways due to lack of game time, understandable as well. So that conversation we'll have to have, I think, at the end of the season. Next rumor is surrounding Alexander Isak. Now, apparently, Graham Porter has called Alexander Isak for Sweden's internationals against Switzerland and Slovenia. And quote unquote, he said Alex is not ready to play 90 minutes in 2 games in 4 days, but he's available and I look forward to seeing him. So my thoughts on that. Firstly, I had not realized that Graham Potter was appointed as the national coach for Sweden. So that was brand new news for me as I saw this rumor today. Secondly, why is he calling for a striker where he knows he can't play 90 minutes and hasn't played for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but you still are selecting him for international duty? So for me, that is not a wise move there from the Swedish coach. So hopefully Liverpool can intervene and say, look, he's not fully fit. We've got him under a program to get him back to full fitness. So sending him to the national team will just disrupt the momentum. So hopefully that conversation can be had, and very very soon, please, because we don't want it to be where he goes over to the international scene and gets injured. So for me, that is not an option. So hopefully, Arne Slot and the coaching staff can stay firm and say, look, he's not available, he's not fit, and let him be instead of let him continue his rehabilitation at Access Center, and let him find his fitness, and then once he's ready in the coming months, then he will be available for the squad selection for Sweden. But right now, it's not an option as he hasn't really played for Liverpool in the last 2 3 weeks. So yeah, hopefully that is just a bit of whispers rather than actually being real news, because I hope he doesn't go over to Sweden, as I don't want him to, risk any injury being picked up in the coming days. Just got a comment in here from Daz. Big up Daz as always. He said, "Big up Ozzy. Do you think we hear about Isak tomorrow in the presser?" I think we'll get confirmation, or we'll get an update in terms of his availability. But at the same time, Arne Slot could be very coy and just say, look, he's going to train and then we'll assess it from there onwards. So that doesn't guarantee that he will be available for team selection. Personally, I don't think he should be selected, because if he's just returning from injury, I would rather let him sit this one out and then use the next 2 weeks to give him that training regime to find his rhythm again, and continue to build on his match fitness. And then once the players return from their international duties, he'll be fully fit and ready to start for Liverpool. So for me, I don't think it'll be the wisest thing to do. And also, if he is involved in this game against Man City, then Sweden will definitely select him. And I don't think it's wise to send him to a national team where he's playing, you know, so many games in a short space of period of time. So I don't think that'll be wise. So let's see. Well, I'm sure we'll get an update tomorrow. Uh, excuse me. And the not new, final topic is this picture I saw on Instagram today, and that was of Hugo Ekitike receiving a signed shirt from Karim Benzema with the caption saying "Messi Idolo." So so when I saw that, you know, the strapline that comes to my mind is real, recognize real, and that's exciting for us Liverpool fans, because I can see similarities in Ekitike's game with Karim Benzema, because you can tell the way he plays that is quite unique, and I've always felt like Benzema is a unique striker, and even just the way Ekitike moves around the pitch, you can tell he models his game to the way Benzema plays. So to see Benzema send him a signed T-shirt is a nice little moment there for the striker. And look, for me, Benzema is one of my favorite strikers of all time, and Ekitike shares the same sentiment. So let's hope Ekitike can use this signed T-shirt as some form of good luck, um, and continues to produce some good form going forward. He hasn't scored in recent games, but he has been pivotal in terms of how we've played as a team, and hopefully he can bag a goal this Sunday. Uh, and that is it for today, guys. Uh, thank you for tuning in. Hold on, we've just got a comment here from Daz who says, "My 11 is same as Tuesday for Sunday." Yeah, mine is the exact same as well. So yeah, we're on the same page there. So hopefully Arne Slot is as well. Thank you, Daz, for your comments. Appreciate your engagement as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, in terms of upcoming shows, I will be doing a live watch along of this fixture this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. UK time, as the match starts at 4:30. So we'll go through the lineups together, see who's been selected, and watch the game, and hopefully, we can bag another win. It'll be 3 games, hopefully, in a row. Um, or it could be two on the bounce in terms of the Premier League. But we've got to stay positive, and hopefully Liverpool end this week on a bang just before the international break. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak with you all very, very soon. Goodbye.